Sometimes, even the brightest stars carry shadows so deep they refuse to look back at them. Under the glow of television lights, applause, and the promise of fame, there are memories that quietly ache beneath the surface. Ron Howard, a name now synonymous with Hollywood mastery, has spent his life creating stories for the world to cherish. Yet there remains one story he himself cannot face. A single episode, filmed in 1960, that he still refuses to watch. Why would a man celebrated for his unshakable calm and creative brilliance close the door on one fragment of his own past? Perhaps it's because some chapters, even for legends, are better left unread. Ronald William Howard's story begins far from the glitz of Los Angeles, in Duncan, Oklahoma, where he was born on March 1, 1954. From the moment he entered the world, Hollywood was already in his blood. His father, Rance Howard, was an actor and writer whose quiet determination and work ethic left an impression on everyone he worked with. His mother, Jean Spiegel Howard, was also an actress, equally passionate about storytelling. In a way, Ron never stood a chance at a normal childhood. His parents didn't just raise him, they prepared him, nurtured him, and opened the door to a life where creativity was not only encouraged but expected. This wasn't about forcing fame onto their son. It was about guiding a gift they recognized early on. That gift would soon change television forever. By the early 1960s, Ron Howard was just 6 years old when he stepped onto the set of The Andy Griffith Show. To audiences across America, he became Opie Taylor, the kind-hearted son of Sheriff Andy Taylor. Week after week, he charmed millions with a gentle smile and an innocence that felt so real, people forgot they were watching a performance. The role wasn't just acting. It was a cultural moment. Families gathered around living room televisions, children saw themselves in Opie, and parents found comfort in the values the show embodied. Through 8 seasons, Ron became more than just a child actor. He became a symbol of decency in a turbulent era. But childhood fame is rarely as effortless as it looks. For Ron, those years were a mixture of wonder and pressure, where the weight of expectation sometimes felt too heavy for such small shoulders. The episode he refuses to watch, Opie and the Spoiled Kid, is perhaps the clearest example of that hidden struggle. It seems innocent enough on the surface. A moral tale about a spoiled boy who disrespects his father and Opie's reaction to that behavior. Yet for young Ron, filming it was an emotional minefield. He later admitted that the episode became tied to one of his most difficult days as a child actor. A day where fear, self-doubt, and the terror of failure nearly consumed him. During the filming of that episode, Ron struggled to remember his lines. For a 6-year-old, forgetting a line might seem small, but under the intense eyes of cameras and crew, it felt catastrophic. He broke down in tears, overwhelmed by the fear of letting everyone down. Andy Griffith, ever the kind mentor, comforted him, reassuring him with patience and warmth. Yet the feeling lingered. Even after the scene was completed and praised, Ron carried that memory like a quiet scar. To this day, when fans ask about the episode, he gently admits he's never been able to watch it. Not because of the story itself, but because of what it represents. A moment of vulnerability that shaped him in ways fame could never erase. As he grew older, Ron Howard's life evolved far beyond Opie Taylor. By the 1970s, he had found a new audience as Richie Cunningham in Happy Days. Once again, he embodied the wholesome everyman, this time navigating teenage life in a nostalgic version of the 1950s. The show was a phenomenon, capturing the optimism and innocence of a bygone era. But even as his popularity soared, Ron remained grounded. Colleagues marveled at how fame hadn't changed him. He was still humble, still thoughtful, still more interested in the craft than the spotlight. Yet privately, that early childhood pressure had planted seeds of introspection. Ron began to wonder if his true calling lay somewhere beyond acting. That question led to one of the most remarkable career transformations in Hollywood history. In the early 1980s, at the height of Happy Days' success, Ron made the daring decision to step away from acting to pursue directing. It was a gamble few understood at the time. How could America's favorite boy next door trade in a thriving acting career for the uncertainty of life behind the camera? But Ron saw something others didn't. He saw stories waiting to be told, worlds waiting to be built, and a creative freedom he couldn't find in front of the lens. His leap of faith paid off. By 1984, Ron had directed Splash, a romantic comedy starring Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah that became a box office hit and proved his instinct was right. From there, his directorial career blossomed. Films like Cocoon, Willow, and Parenthood showcased his ability to handle vastly different genres while keeping the heart of each story intact. Audiences began to see him not just as a former child star but as a filmmaker with rare vision and emotional intelligence. The pinnacle came in 1995 with Apollo 13. This gripping space drama about NASA's harrowing mission redefined Ron's career. His meticulous attention to detail, combined with a deep respect for real-life heroism, earned the film 9 Academy Award nominations. 6 years later, A Beautiful Mind cemented his place in cinema history, winning 4 Oscars, including Best Director. The boy once haunted by forgotten lines was now crafting masterpieces celebrated around the world. Beyond directing, Ron co-founded Imagine Entertainment with Brian Grazer, producing groundbreaking television and film projects like Arrested Development and Friday Night Lights. His influence expanded, shaping the cultural landscape not just through his own films but through the countless stories Imagine helped bring to life. Even when tackling controversial material like The Da Vinci Code, a film criticized by religious institutions yet embraced by audiences, Ron demonstrated a fearless commitment to storytelling, unafraid to navigate moral complexities and historical provocations. His career continued to evolve with projects like In the Heart of the Sea, Inferno, and even stepping into the Star Wars universe with Solo, a Star Wars story. Few in Hollywood have maintained such longevity, reinventing themselves across decades while staying true to their creative core. Yet through all this success, Ron's private life remained remarkably grounded. In 1975, Ron married Cheryl Alley, his high school sweetheart. Their marriage, lasting nearly 5 decades, stands as one of Hollywood's most enduring love stories. Together they raised 4 children, Bryce Dallas, twins Paige and Jocelyn, and Reed Cross, each with names tied to meaningful places where they were conceived. Bryce Dallas Howard would go on to follow her father's footsteps into Hollywood, starring in films like Jurassic World and even becoming a director herself. Reed pursued professional golf, Paige explored acting, while Jocelyn chose a quieter life out of the spotlight. The Howards' family life, while touched by fame, remained rooted in love, creativity, and a deep respect for privacy. For all his professional triumphs and personal stability, that one childhood memory still lingers. Ron Howard has spoken about Opie and the spoiled kid with a mixture of gratitude and quiet avoidance. It's not the content of the episode itself that troubles him. It's what filming it demanded of him emotionally. At 6 years old, being asked to confront themes of respect, morality, and parental disappointment wasn't just acting. It was an introduction to the cost of performing under pressure. That single moment planted early doubts about whether life in front of the camera was sustainable. It's no coincidence that Ron gravitated toward directing, where he could tell stories without reliving the vulnerability of childhood fame. There's something profoundly human in that choice. In a world where celebrities are often expected to embrace every part of their past, Ron Howard reminds us that not all memories need revisiting. Some scars deserve respect, not re-exposure. Fans may remember Opie and the spoiled kid as just another beloved episode, but for Ron, it symbolizes the complexities of growing up too soon under the public eye. Even as he avoids watching that single episode, Ron Howard's career stands as a testament to resilience and reinvention. He transformed childhood fame into creative mastery, pain into purpose, and vulnerability into vision. His refusal to revisit that early moment isn't about bitterness. It's about honoring the boundaries that allow him to keep creating with clarity and heart. And perhaps that's why audiences continue to trust him. Behind every film, behind every quiet directorial choice, lies a man who understands the weight of memory and the value of moving forward. Ron Howard's story isn't just about one episode he'll never watch. It's about how that episode shaped everything that came after. It's about finding strength in reflection and courage in letting go. And in many ways, it's about the universal truth that even in the brightest careers, the most meaningful growth often begins in the quiet, unseen moments. If you enjoyed learning about Ron Howard's remarkable life and the hidden chapter he's chosen to keep closed, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that reveal the human side of Hollywood's most legendary figures.